Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. There's a paid request for Ryan. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to as soon as I can. And he wanted me to talk about Rugrats Go Wild. Now, this is the third and last of the Rugrats films he wanted me to talk about. And then another movie after this, The Wild Thornberrys. As well as a few other stuff, but I'll get to them as soon as I can, Ryan. Now, Rugrats Go Wild was not as successful as the first two. I think at this point, people were kind of maybe a bit over Rugrats. And I guess at the time, they were trying to do this older Rama in theaters where you like scratch and sniff. People complained all they did was smell cardboard. I think John Waters wanted to sue because he came up with the idea, but it was never copyrighted, so he couldn't do that. Now, the deal with this is the Rugrats, their families take them on a boat, there's a storm, they get stranded on an island, and the island happens to have also the family from the Wild Thornberrys. Now, I never watched that show. Now, I did watch the movie that he requested. That'll be the review after this. I just went to this one because, well, I did Rugrats 1 and 2. I'll just go to the third one, then go forward. So it was my introduction to Wild Thornberrys, which I guess was successful enough. It got, I believe, 5 seasons. But I had never seen the show. I had heard of it. That family is... You have the daughter, Eliza, that because of some shaman, she can talk to animals. You have her older sister, Debbie, which is a valley girl. Oh, whatever. Oh, my God. Voiced by Danielle Harris. Yes, Danielle Harris. That was a surprise. From Halloween 4 and 5, and she was in The Last Boy Scout. She was in Daylight. She was in... Was it Marked for Death for Steven Seagal? So, I'm like, okay, cool. Daniel Harris there. Then you have Tim Curry, who is Nigel, this explorer, and then his wife films it for this nature show, documentary TV show. But before we get to them, we have our main characters, the Rugrats, having a safari fantasy because they watched Tim Curry's show. Angelica, of course, being a bitch. Oh, you'll never be Nigel. Blah, 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 blah. The family decides to get on a getaway. Now, granted, they think they're getting on this big cruise boat. To Stu, I think, kind of misled them into thinking that. But then he shows up in this really crappy boat. And to me, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to just go home. I'm going to get a taxi. Goodbye. You tell most of them are pissed off at him. I'd be like, then don't get on the boat. Don't get on the boat, fuck the boat. But they do. And then this big storm tidal wave happens, the perfect storm style. Now, I do like some of the animation. During the storm, there's hues of green and gray in the sky. I thought it made the storm look a bit dynamic. So I liked some of the look of the film. They get stranded on the island. Everybody hates Stu. People split up and try to figure out what to do next. Angelica splits up. She eventually meets Debbie. So Danielle Harris and Angelica, they have something in common. At one point they're driving together, listen to One Way or Another, which Angelica was seen in the first Rugrats movie, I believe. While the other babies, they're out in the jungle, and there's songs like the other ones. One's called It's a Jungle Out Here. Almost as Jungle Out There, but that's the theme from Monk. It's not this. Like I said, I'm not really big on the songs in these movies. I guess there's people that like them, that enjoy them. I don't think these ever needed to be musicals. That's just my opinion. Eliza is trying to look for this leopard because, oh, if we find the leopard, we'll find it for Mom and Dad. They'll shoot it for a documentary. And then we can get out of here and spend family time. But during her search, she meets with Spike, the dog, the Rugrats dog. And because she could talk to animals, we have Spike did a voice, which is Bruce Willis. Yes, Bruce Willis, which, I mean, he was doing animated stuff around this time. He had done a voice in Beavis and Butthead Do America. I don't remember when Over the Hedge was, but that was sometime in the 2000s. So he's done voice work before and after. To be honest, though, he was really, maybe just the way he was written, maybe it's not the way he portrayed it, but the way he was written was really annoying. Because Spike would not shut the fuck up. He's saying lines like "sniff my butt," and there's a tons of butt jokes, piss jokes, poo jokes. The first time he's getting ready to talk, he's ready to mark his territory. And I'm like, do I really want to hear Bruce Willis talk about piss and butt and poo and, do I really want to hear that? Not really. It's not something that was on my bingo card. It's not something I ever wanted to hear in my life. And I like Bruce Willis. I'm sorry for what's happened to him. But Spike was just annoying as fucking hell in this movie. And then he's singing to the feline because they find the leopard and he eggs her on, Siri. Not the, AI, this different Siri. And she's voiced by the lead singer from The Pretenders. So she has a good voice, but the thing is, they make it seem like she's going to be this huge threat. And there is a moment she chases the babies, but then she kind of just disappears. Like the last 20-some minutes, she just disappears, and instead it's the babies meet with Nigel, Tim Curry, but then Tim Curry bumped his head, so his head's not on straight. One of least another, they get into a submarine, they're flying around, they're swimming around, they get screwed up, they're trapped in the sub, in the water, and then Stu and the others have to find a way to raise the sub and save Tim Curry and the babies. So that Stu is able to have people forgive him for his screw up to begin with. So he becomes the big hero at the end of the day. Some stuff that happens along the way. The Thornberrys also have this feral adopted son. The idea is voiced by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But he doesn't really talk, he just makes noises. But he's like acting all feral. His big thing, he steals Chucky's clothes. And I just want to note that Chucky is no longer voiced by the lady who voiced him in the first two movies. By this point, she had... Well, I know she had retired. She might have passed away at this point. Can't remember. But Nancy Cartwright took over the role. I thought, and yes, Nancy Cartwright, who voices Bart Simpson on The Simpsons. And you know what? I actually thought did a good job. Sounded very close to how Chucky sounded in the first two. Every once in a blue moon, you hear a little bit of Bart Simpson, a little bit, but for the most part, did a pretty commendable job. So, but I mean, it's with the first two Rugrats movies, they definitely, I thought, had more of an emotional core at the center. The first one, Tommy getting to bond with his baby brother, and the baby brother learning to care for his older brother, and them getting to know each other, bond. The second film, Chucky, with his mom, and wanting a new mom, and this stepmom hates me, and I gotta save my dad, and here, there's not really any of that. It's more of just the gimmick of having these two families together and interact with each other. For me, because I didn't know jack squat about the Wild Thornberrys, that didn't really do much for me. It's cool to have Tim Curry. He's not in it a ton, and it's nice to hear Danielle Harris. But yeah, I don't have any nostalgia. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge. I didn't never watch the show, so that's not something I really gravitated towards one way or the other. Of wow, this is awesome. It's like okay, it is what it is. The jungle setting's fine, but at times remind me a bit of the setting in the first film, which was in the forest, the woods. Granted, in this you get to see a lot more variety of animals, and I don't think the animation was bad. I don't think it's a cheap looking film. But yeah, it definitely, yeah, I would say it definitely lacked the emotional core of the first two. Again, the wild thornberries, I was indifferent. Didn't love or didn't hate them. I did the villain Siri, the leopard. She kind of just disappears, so it didn't seem she was that much of a threat. All talk, and not a whole lot of bite. And once again, you have your piss jokes, your your poo jokes, your butt joke, lame jokes of that nature that I'd never liked in any of these movies. And the weird stuff like the little brother Dill starts licking one of the twins, I think Phil's feet. Because Phil and Lil, they're kind of having a fight because she wants to be a vegetarian, but she can't say the word right. And Phil's like, oh my god, well, who's gonna lick my feet? And I'm like, what? Because Lil is seeing all these bugs and all they're cute. Because Phil's like, why don't we eat the bugs? We always eat the bugs. I'm like, you're eating bugs in the first place? What the fuck are your parents doing? Your parents should be locked up if they can't pay attention to their kids. And if their kids eating so many fucking bugs that that's a bonding moment, then their parents should be locked up. Because think about it. I mean, come on. You gotta know if your fucking kids are eating bugs or not. The fuck are you feeding them that they need to resort to bugs to eat? Shit. But, a little baby licking someone's feet, bit weird. At least to me it is. Maybe if you're Tarantino it's not, but... And again, Bruce Willis, his character... Spike didn't need to talk. It was a stunt cast. Hey, we got Bruce Willis. Look at us. It's like, okay, well, I like Bruce Willis, but I don't give a rat's ass that he's voicing in this. I really don't. That's just me, though. Again, I don't need to hear him say, stiff my butt and all that jazz. And it makes me wonder, like, some of the films Bruce Willis didn't do, but he was willing to do this and say lines like that. Either A, his kids really wanted him to do it, or B, he got paid a good chunk of money. I would assume, so. Take that for what you will. Maybe he really needed the money. I don't know. But with that said, it's my least favorite of the three Rugrats films. Definitely some diminishing returns. And, yeah, it is what it is. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.